Hi, I'm Dan, and welcome back to the Rock Nerd Radio Show here on YouTube. Constructicon Week is rolling right along, and the 2025 Studio Series Commander Class offering this year was a two-pack of Constructicons. It's Long Haul and Hook. Now, I have some issues with this being a Commander Class offering. I understand why they did it this way, but you don't want to hear me talk about it now. Let's take a look at the figures and the extra pieces that kind of make this a Commander Class price point, and yeah, we'll talk about them. So let's get into it.
Come geek out with us on the Rock Nerd Radio Show.
So here is most of the Commander class offering from the Studio Series 86 line. Yeah, we have Long Haul, we have Hook. They are two Constructicons, and like you've seen with every Constructicon so far, they have the Constructicon green. These guys have a little more detail to them than, say, Scrapper, who we just looked at, in that they have a little more paint application, some more of the purple there. Long Haul has the red on the bed of his truck, and there are a little more details when it comes to pieces that will eventually form their body parts, but there's also some blacks on there, some grays. The headlights look really cool. And when I said this is most of the offering, it's because there's also this whole brick of stuff. These are additional pieces for the Studio Series Commander set. Basically, this could be an elongated dump truck for Long Haul, and I'll show you that as we look at him when we look at him individually. But ultimately, this has a lot of the Devastator kibble on it, and this is going to help us with the transformation into Devastator when we get there. But for now, I want to focus on the figures, because when we reach the end of all of these reviews, we will be focusing on Devastator. So, as you can see, here they are. I'm going to look at Hook first. I'll bring him in closely. The wheels on him do roll, which are nice. And the hook, the crane on him will go up, as you can see. And it will extend. Actually, is that the most it's extending? There it is, totally compressed. That's it fully extended. I thought it goes further, but it doesn't. And the little crane piece does articulate. So that's kind of cool. No turning at the bottom of the crane otherwise, but that's what it looks like. Hey, it looks fine. There is weapon storage here. You can see his gun on the side of him. If you're not careful, like I just was, if you click it too far, the crane does come out. And I take it back because the crane will rotate here at the bottom, but you do have to lift it up over the housing here. So there is that. But otherwise, hey, it looks pretty cool. If you are familiar with Hook, you probably know what he's going to look like and turn into. Visible head syndrome on the bottom. Also, his feet are there as well. But we'll look at him more in a little bit. We'll transform him up in a little bit. Here is Long Haul, and yeah, he's normally, I feel like, the Constructicon who gets the short end of the stick because he carries so much weight as the Devastator hips. This is the first time I feel like they did his robot mode justice. I think he has a really nice robot mode, which we'll get into. But you can see the decorations here, and the paint hits, the deco there. But he's a dump truck. He looks like a dump truck. I think he's fine. I guess they would drive it on this side because this is all empty space. But yeah, weapon storage again here. He's good, and again, black arms there, wheels roll. That can't be said for every Constructicon. We'll get there. But if you want to see how that kind of combined dump truck mode looks, there is this little nub here on the back, and you would connect it into the back of the legs right here. So you just you would have to undo the legs essentially, like this, and then sandwich this in like that, and now you would have the connected combined dump truck thing. Now obviously wrists and hands for Devastator, chest plate wings there, and other stuff that we'll talk about when we put him into Devastator mode. But yeah, so kind of neat. Just to get it out of the way, I did say that I had some gripes about this being the Commander class for the Studio Series this year. And I go back and forth on it. I don't love the fact that two guys that are maybe Voyagers are being charged as a commander. I guess in terms of putting them together in a two-pack, it makes sense. And there is a lot of extra Devastator kibble. So it's not the worst thing. With Superion and Minosaur, and I'm assuming Bruticus, we kind of have the skeletal combiner frame. We don't have that with Devastator. So we did need a way to make sure everything gets where it needs to go. And that's where the back of this dump truck comes into play. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling about their vehicle modes, and I'm going to get these guys transformed into robot mode. And just for the record, if I haven't said it yet, because this is a 2-pack, I'm doing this review together. So let's get Hook transformed first and see what he looks like in his robot mode. So in terms of Hook's transformation, you're going to want to bring the crane in. That's how I normally start. I always tend to go with the feet first, so unlock the hands because they do tab into the toes a little bit. And then you can bring down the toes like this. There we go. You're going to want to fold out the heel part like this. And just in case that wasn't on camera, fold and extend. Kind of how we're going with all these Constructicons. Now, his legs kind of were like the most finicky for me because the way you transform them is you got to like bring them down on this double hinge and then snap them into place. And just to show you again, because that may have been off camera, it's a double hinge down like that. And then it snaps into place. So they end up going there, but it definitely takes a little bit. This piece will come into play when we are combining Devastator. But yeah, so his legs are pretty much done, and honestly, the robot is pretty much done. Just to finish it off, you're going to want to take the arms, and mine seem to get a little stuck, but you have to untab them from inside here and pull them down, and then fold out the hands. So there's one arm, just to show you again. You have to untab from this side here, so you can bring this whole backpack back. I forgot about that piece. Untab, extend, and then there's the hand. So there we go. And my complaints that have been going on with the Constructicon so far about lack of wrist articulation still holds true here. We are not done, though, because his backpack is too high. So you're going to take this, and you're just going to slide it on down. And it kind of forms that, like, Hook silhouette where his, like, shoulders are above his head or whatever these pieces are. They do get out of the way. So if you really don't want them, you can just have them up, and then his arms move freely. But when you put them down, like the way they're supposed to be, they kind of move a little bit when he raises his arms. So your mileage may vary, but there is Hook in his robot mode. And if you want him to have like a kickstand, you can always extend the crane a little bit just so he like kind of supports himself. He is a little back heavy, but he's not going to fall over. So, you know, you do what you want. It's your toy. Let's bring in Long Haul, because I think Long Haul has a bit of a more interesting transformation than past iterations. So what I do first is, like I've been saying, I take the feet, I open them up, there we go. All this just kind of stays the way it is, but what's interesting here, so here are his feet. He has a knee joint here that locks really tightly into place, probably because of Devastator, like the transformation. So like, anytime you make his foot straight, you were locking it and then unlocking it. I do worry about the, there we go, about the tolerance of that joint over time, so I'm not going to keep locking and unlocking. Honestly, once they're in Devastator mode, like, that's probably it for me. But anyway, his arms swing out to the side. What you're going to want to do is bring the chest, the torso down, the top of his body down, and connect that into place. That automatically pops the head out. And then this piece, you fold back like this. And then for the arms, you just want to fold out the hands, and there you have Long Haul in his robot mode. He gets a little funky to stand sometimes. Oh, that's because I have his gun was screwing things up for me. That's what it was. So anyway, overall looks pretty good, kind of stocky, and not like the usual kind of stocky that you might see him in. I wish these wheels folded away somehow. They're just kind of here and sticking out, but dead on, they don't look that bad. I'm going to put his gun in his hand just so you it doesn't get lost anywhere. But yeah, like, he looks pretty cool. I'm going to bring the camera down a little bit so we can get more eyes on these guys. And like, yeah, dead on, you know, they look like Constructicons. They look like they should look. You know, I've been bringing in my original G1 Constructicons for comparison. Here is Long Haul with his original self, and here is Hook with his original self. And you can see, like, they're pretty good for what they are. Now, I forget in the cartoon, I'm assuming Long Haul's arms were black, which is why they're black here. I know the original toy, obviously, they're purple. I don't know if we're going to see, like, a toy version of Studio Series Devastator come out. I really don't know if they're going to do that. It'd be a hefty price tag if they do it all as one set. I'm okay with this look. This is where I'm happy with and what I'm okay with, so I don't feel like I need to change it. But here are the original guys, just to show you how they look. We will be doing more comparisons later. Just to talk about the articulation, let's look at Hook first. So his head is on a bit of a ball joint, but he's got a high collar, so you're not getting a lot of up and down. You do get twist, but again, like because of these elbow pieces or shoulder pieces, like they kind of get in the way. So if you really want to get in there and move around, you're going to have to move them. But like, I don't like the way that looks. So if they were able to fold all the way back, it'd be different, but they can't. At the arms, let me move these pieces again. The arms will go almost all the way around. They'll go straight up, but they definitely get stopped by these, and it's kind of hard. You can rotate them around, but his arm is sticking all the way out in order to rotate it around. So there is that. We do have rotation at the bicep, and we have a double elbow, although because of the wheels, you can't get a tremendous amount of bend in. Like, that's the best I've gotten so far. Nothing at the hand in terms of articulation, unless you count the transformation of it going in and out. At the waist, we have nothing, and he will eventually split in half, but we'll talk about that later. Or not split in half. He rotates to form the shoulders of Devastator. At the legs, forward, back, all the way, kicking way, way out, even above a Van Damme. Rotation at the thigh, just about 90 degrees at the knee. We have foot going forward, not so much back, and we do have slight ankle tilt. It's not a ton, but it will give you about that much room, so it's what it needs to be. And I think he looks pretty good. I'm also going to give him his gun before I forget it and possibly lose it. So there we go. Overall, he looks pretty cool. You can see the red eyes. Like I said with Scrapper, I really wish these guys had some light piping. I think that really would have made him pop. But nice Decepticon logo on the chest there. A piece for Devastator will fold out of his chest. But gray legs down to the silver panels on the front, gray feet. Of course, the tires are what the tires are. There's, black and silver. Spinning him around, you've already kind of seen this because it was all the crane detail, but there's a crane strapped to his back. That's ultimately what there is. He looks cool. There we go. Bringing in Long Haul. We'll look at his details first. Really love that head sculpt on him. I think that it looks fantastic. And one thing I think I forgot to mention when I transformed him, you can see this kind of gappage on between the shoulder and the rest of the arm. You do have to click that up, and they will click into place securely. So there we go. That's something I forgot to say. But he looks like a beefy guy. Like he'd almost be like a Cybertronian bodybuilder. He's got the large, somewhat exaggerated chest section, going down a bit of a smaller midriff, and then of course his legs. These details were in the dump truck mode, and even some details on his feet. But otherwise, just a lot of green on him. A little bit of purple here at the crotch piece, but really only in the back. And then of course the top of the dump truck folds up over here. Black arms, silver hubcaps. There we go. In terms of his articulation, his head doesn't really move much. We do get some left and right and a little bit of up and down, but because he's got this big old panel, the block on the back of his head, it kind of inhibits the way he moves. So there is a little, but not a lot. Arms are going to rotate up. They are going to go fully around. And in terms of any type of thigh articulation, not thigh, any type of other arm articulation, he's a ball joint at the elbow. So his arms can move all the way around and stuff, but it is all because of the elbow. And then nothing at the hands, just like every other Constructicon, they just pop out. In terms of the waist, we got nothing. Legs are going to go all the way forward. They're going to go all the way back. He can kick way back. And they are going to go out for a full Van Damme as well. And continuing down, we do have bonus articulation here because of transformation. So he can kick at the top of his leg. You're supposed to click that in when you transform him, so that kind of locks it together. But it is bonus articulation, so do with that what you may. At the knee, like I said, we have a knee bend. It only goes about that far, and that knee can lock into place too if you want him standing straight up. At the feet, no forward or back, but we do have big ankle tilts there, so he can get into some deep splits if you want him to be. But yeah, there we go. That's about the extent of these two guys. Looking at their accessories, of course, Hook has his gun, There it is. It again, it has a hole in it, which I kind of complained about with Scrapper. It doesn't seem to make sense for me, but it has a scope on top. It has like an ammo piece here, a clip there, so that's pretty cool. Some neat detail on it. It's the same on both the front and or on either side. I don't know if there's a front or a back side, but it looks pretty cool. And the Constructicon's weapons are somewhat basic, so I don't need them to be like super exaggerated. With long haul here, we have the nice green for the base of it, and then the black tip. I always thought maybe this would actually. I am correct. This does come off. I thought it came off. So you can get this into two pieces if you want to. You can always act like this is like the missile coming out of like a small missile launcher. That is entirely up to you. You do with it what you will. It's probably all blast effect compatible. So here's how they look. I think they look pretty good, but now I think it's time for some comparisons. So here they are standing with the Studio Series Megatron, one of my favorite figures this year. I say it every time, but they look good with him. They look good as like his underlings. Here they are with the Earthrise Optimus Prime. And here they are with the other two Constructicons that I've looked at so far, Mixmaster and Scrapper. So overall, this Constructicon 2-pack I think is worth it. I'm definitely into them. Of course, I am building Devastator, which is probably a bit of a factor in this. Now, these two will form the main body and head of Devastator, along with that side piece that I showed you before, that extra kibble piece. So if you have this 2-pack, you're well on your way into building Devastator. Of course, when we get there, I will probably start by combining these two guys together first. So I would love to know your thoughts of this 2-pack down in the comments below. Do you think this is a good 2-pack? If you're completing Devastator, you obviously need to get it. But let me know what you think of the size of these guys, the price, even the posability and articulation. Because honestly, I do think in some places they are lacking. But as always, you can check out the Rock Nerd Radio Show podcast on your preferred podcast platform. It is a weekly show hosted by myself and my good friend Vinny, where we talk about all different aspects of pop culture. There's bound to be something on there that you enjoy. And until next time, I want to thank you for checking out this review. I've been Dan. You've all been pretty awesome. That's been Hook and Long Haul. I'll see you around.